Thanks, Amanda. It's Friday, and that means we're in our Southern Union State Community College kitchen. Today, we have Adrian and Kate from First United Methodist Church cooking up something perfect
Getting
for
you
Easter.
all ready for Easter. Ladies, thank you all so much for joining us. I have to point out the back of your shirts. They say Culinary Workshop. Explain what that is. What is the Culinary Workshop at First United Methodist?
Well, when COVID started and we couldn't have people at the church, Kate and I were racking our brains, how can we connect with our people? And we were going to have a scones workshop because Kate is English and she makes a wonderful scones. So we were going to teach people how to make scones. And we ended up saying, you know what, we can still do that, but we'll do it on Facebook.
And so you kept that tradition going.
Yes, we used to call it Pandemic Pantry. We have a Facebook page, and then we pivoted and called it Culinary Workshops.
Well, now you're here for in-person culinary workshop.
Yes. What are you going to make for us today?
We are going to make a little Italian frittata, and we're going to make individual ones. Something that if you don't already have your brunch menu picked out for Easter, you might want to add this in. So right now, we've just got some olive oil just warming in our pan. And I'm just going to go ahead and slice up. We're going to use leeks today. We're going to use prosciutto.
I notice our chefs like leeks. Do the chefs like leeks?
We have leeks a lot.
Yes, well, we love a leek. So I'm going to chop him up.
Ooh, a quick chopper.
Just a quick chop.
Very good chopper.
Skill.
And she's good at teaching you to chop.
Yes, just keep that point down on the board and away you go.
Now, Adrian, you said she is the talent of the Culinary Workshop combo.
I'm just here for the food, but Kate is a very talented chef. She's very adventurous in the kitchen as well, and has made me adventurous, and therefore my husband and Kate's husband are very happy to eat the food that we make.
Yes,
We're very happy to be eating it today.
I'm glad y'all are doing that. So she's Cordon Bleu trained from London. And
Wow.
So she's our hospitality director at the church, and so I was really glad to get to show Kate off a little bit in culinary workshops.
She helps me. She helps me thrive. So that's good. So we've got our leek in there, and now it's almost like a baby leek. We're going to use a spring onion, as I would call it. I think you call it a green onion.
Green onion,
And
yes.
we
But
are
I like calling it a spring onion.
Spring onion,
especially
especially for this weather
season.
So we are just going to put that in there as well. That will just help intensify that flavor a little bit. So we're just going to pop him in, and then I'm hoping that it's on,
It's kind of a medium.
Yeah, you're on the small setting if you want it.
You know what I love about a green onion? It's easy to chop, and you don't cry as quickly when you're chopping the green onion. Sally was in tears last Friday when we were cooking with the regular onion. So
Onions will get you.
They will get you.
Especially this time of
And
year
not
when the
everybody
allergies.
likes a red onion. You can slip in a leek, and people are more willing to try it. So we're going to
I mean, that's really strong.
It is,
smell.
but it's going to be
Yummy.
what you're going to want. It's going to feel good. I'm going to add, it's not in the recipe, but I'm just going to add a little nut of butter.
Butter never hurts.
We had a chef tell us one time, butter makes it better. Butter makes it better.
Exactly. Look, can I have my spoon with my little
Buckingham Palace.
Oh,
Love it.
Okay, so
Well,
while
such a
that's
home there.
sizzling, which hopefully it'll sizzle soon, while that's doing that, Adrian is going to start work over there on just the...
Sure.
Okay, we have 8 eggs here to crack
And here.
into this bowl.
Okay.
And then we'll add, I think this is heavy cream, Kate?
We're using a cup and a half of half and half. Now, you could use heavy cream. You could use... Is it doing something?
Yes, butter is starting to melt. Do I need to move this
No,
around?
just
or
let it
let
do
it
its
be.
thing for
Okay.
now.
Let it be.
Let it be.
Let it be. You could use milk. You can use... yes, you can use 1%, 2%, whole milk. It really doesn't matter.
So if you don't want it to be quite as heavy, you could
Right.
2%.
And these are very forgiving. You can really just use whatever you have in your refrigerator. We're just trying to amp it up with some fancy ingredients today. But if you've got a little bit of leftover vegetables, you've got half a pepper that needs using up, you can use anything that you want to.
Yeah.
Those onions are starting to cook.
Yeah.
I can tell by my eyes. That is good. That is good.
Good.
All right, so while that's doing that, I'm going to prepare a little bit of our fresh basil that we're going to be adding in a minute.
Does this come from your garden?
I wish it did. I wish it did. Maybe
looks
later
like it
this
did.
season.
There we go.
Okay.
Useful.
I'll let you
Okay, there
whisk
we are
that.
sizzling.
Okay.
So we are going to, when you
I'm working
slice-
over here.
Oh, we love it. And I am chiffonating.
Ooh, that's a big word.
Basil.
Now, what is chiffonating?
Very finely chopping.
I don't know, but it sounds
Wow, that's
English
gonna
and fancy.
It does.
There'll be a lot of rich aromas, I think, coming out of us today.
Okay,
Be careful,
And
Sally.
let that
cream in
sizzle
here
a
with the
little.
whisking. Look at that. Jasmine's got skills.
Yes,
all of
you
it,
do.
Kate?
I don't know if I do, but
Yes, all of that.
All the cream. Look at that.
Yeah. And then you're going to do just a couple of turns of the pink Himalayan. Okay.
now this is another thing I've noticed from our chefs. They like the pink.
We
What is the
do.
difference to you?
I actually like the Malden sea salt even better, which is just a saltier salt, if that makes any
Yes,
sense.
it does.
You have to use
It's
as much.
granules. You pinch them. You feel so fancy.
Yeah,
It is a
fancy.
delightful use of
It's
salt.
just flaky and fun.
You think I got enough in there?
I think you do. And on the right-hand side in those little dishes is oregano. So not that one. This one here
This
is
one?
pepper. Pinch
Black pepper?
Pinch of black
Okay.
pepper.
Pinch of
Just a
black
pinch?
pepper Into this.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And we're going to say
Pinch?
that has sizzled enough for us.
That was good.
So we are going to add in, well, what should we do next? Let's do our basil.
Ooh, it
That's
is
gonna be very
strong.
aromatic.
But a good strong.
A good strong basil and spinach actually go very well together. They complement each other. So we're going to do that, and then we
All the
have
greens.
pancetta. So I've just
Prosciutto,
diced that.
prosciutto.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Thank you. But you could use pancetta.
You could use pancetta. Or you could, now, do you
Just
have to
regular
use-
bacon.
Regular bacon. I would pre-cook the bacon if I was going to do that. You can leave the meat out completely. You could use a bit of leftover,
Now our
ham from
English friend
Easter.
is very fancy, but yes, most of our Southern folks will have some bacon in their fridge, ready to roll.
Yeah, this is just some fancy bacon. So we're just going to let that do its little thing in there.
I will say this probably will cook a little bit faster than having to pre-cook the
And
bacon.
you're not really cooking it
Yeah.
for a reason other than just to kind of get it.
It
going.
saves you a step.
You're just zhuzhing it really. And then I've chosen to put in some sun-dried tomatoes.
Well, I love that.
Ooh, I love
Just,
those.
Put those in there too with that little bit
That's a
of oil.
nice little cooking hack too, because you can get those from Walmart in the bag,
Fantastic.
and you dump them right into something.
Okay, and now we're just going to pop our spoon out. Spinach always looks like you have a lot.
And then it and then it
we'll
disappears.
Right down, right?
It
See,
disappears.
It's,
It's
not
like
your first
magic.
rodeo. So that is going to go in. We are going to put a pinch of nutmeg if someone would like to do that.
Nutmeg.
Nutmeg, and we are going to do perhaps a bigger pinch.
See, I had a big pinch, Sally. Sally made fun of my pinch of pepper earlier.
Pinch of pepper.
That's good, and we can do a little pepper in there too.
I'll do
Couple more
a
grains of,
nice size pinch.
Nice size pinch, and a little of the salt.
Pink salt
Rather
makes things
helpful
pretty.
in the kitchen. That's great. Because
Awesome.
that bacon's going to have a little saltiness to it, and we are just going to let that settle.
Okay.
So while that settles, let's get our pan ready.
Okay.
We just have a muffin pan that I have sprayed.
Nice and
and
sprayed.
greased. So that's ready, and we can talk through our other ingredients while that just settles for a minute.
Okay.
We have got a Fontana cheese today. You could use Gruyere, you can use cheddar, you can use mozzarella, you can really do
Whatever suits you.
floats your boat. And we are going to use a Parmesan to top them off. And then the difference between a frittata and an omelette, sometimes people are like, isn't it just the same thing? But it's not. A frittata has the vegetables and the components at the bottom, and then an omelette would have the components
And you
at the top,
fold it.
and then you fold it.
Yes.
So, and an omelette, of course, is French. Frittata is Italian. So,
Look, we learned
little
something
knowledge
new.
there
We're getting
today.
an education and a meal in here today.
See, but y'all are used to that with the workshop, right? You're teaching and talking to people all the time.
I'm the learner, there for the food. Like I said, I'm here to sample and learn.
You have to have skill, or she wouldn't have you in the kitchen
Well, we
with
have
her.
come a long
We've
way.
come
If
a
you
long
watch
way.
those
Let's be honest.
our first few episodes, it's a train wreck.
We said from the very first episode we shot it sideways because
You're just figuring it out, huh?
We did
So
but,
bad.
but we've got better. We've got better.
We have.
But I love that. I just love that component in a church too, right? When people think of churches, some people they think of the pastor, the sermon, just that day of that Sunday experience. But with these workshops, you're helping to form that community.
Absolutely. And some people really do go home and make the recipes at home and they tell Kate, I did it, and they send pictures. It's really sweet.
Me and Sally make the recipes at home here in the kitchen. Yeah.
We do, and we try and keep it seasonal, and we try and keep it at a level.
Simple, yeah.
Yeah, simple,
It's easy.
or something that you might learn and appreciate, and you might not try, but you'll know about it.
We are going to continue to let you ladies cook, and we're going to
Okay.
come back in. And what are we going to do in our next segment?
Okay, we are going to fill and slide those in the oven, and then throw together a little bean salad.
That sounds
Right.
great.
Kate and Adrian. We'll check back in with y'all in our next half hour.
Sounds great. We'll see you then.
In our Southern Union State Community College kitchen with the duo Kate and Adrian from First United Methodist Church. Kate is our chef.
Absolutely.
Adrian is the assistant.
She's awesome.
I'm the student.
Such a great
pupil.
chef. Such a great
It's okay
chef.
because I'm the assistant too. Kate is the chef, and she is showing us how to make frittatas right now, which we learned in our first half hour that frittata is Italian,
It is.
omelet is French, and the real difference though is that the veggies and the placement
Exactly,
of
or at
them.
the bottom.
So she's placing the veggies at the bottom of the muffin pan.
I am, absolutely. So
Leeks.
we've got leeks and our pancetta.
Green onions, yes.
Spring onions, yes.
Prosciutto.
And a little of prosciutto, yes. And
Spinach.
A little spinach and a little blush tomatoes in there. So we've got those in, and then we're going to sprinkle a little cheese on the top of each one.
Now, did you grate the cheese yourself?
I did grate the
I
cheese
can tell the
myself.
difference.
Yes, I did. And this is a mixture of Fontana and Gruyere. But say you could use mozzarella, you could use cheddar, you could use whatever you've got.
When you grate it yourself, it just looks a little different than the.
It does, doesn't it?
It looks more ready to eat.
You know, and if you're counting those calories, these make just a great morning thing to keep in the refrigerator, and you don't need to put cheese in them at all. They'll be just as good.
Or you could
So-
put cheese, but
You can put cheese, you know. But there's a way to adapt it for everybody.
there is. And then the eggs that I so graciously whisked earlier.
You were such a good whisker,
such a
Jasmine.
professional. We
And-
are going to divide this now between each of these little muffins.
And did we use? Remind me, was it heavy cream?
We used half and half
half and
today.
half, half
Exactly.
and half.
And you could have used heavy cream if that's what you had in
Or
your
even just
refrigerator.
milk.
You could use just milk. That's right. Takes a minute to let it soak through all those ingredients.
Oh,
so we are just going to do whoops.
Uh-oh. Now, I
know?
was joking with about our assistant, Adrian, but she is over here chopping up, or as Kate would say, tomatoes.
That's right.
Tomatoes.
We have a little, I translate for Kate every once in a while. It's really funny because she says things like oregano.
Or spring onion. That was the first
onion.
time I heard, but I
Yes.
actually, now that I'm hearing
you'll
it, I
always
prefer
say that,
I
right?
prefer
You'll
spring
always
onion. And,
say it.
and you do use it a lot in the spring, so it makes sense.
You
So,
do.
but you're chopping up tomatoes. What are you making over here?
We are working on a bean salad over here, and Kate told me to slice them long ways. These are really fun oblong tomatoes. They look
It's
delicious.
interesting that
odd
you're using
shape, aren't
beans
they?
because I know our friends across the pond like beans.
We do like these, and we were just trying to
Yes.
think of a way to make this just a little more hearty as a
Yes,
brunch
and
dish.
I'm quartering them to go into the bowl with these Great Northern beans.
Okay, and then while she's doing that, I'm going to sprinkle this is our little Parmesan that's going to go on the top. Then these are going to go into the oven, and they're going to bake for about 25 minutes on 350.
Now, we mentioned in the first half that you all were, what was your name before the culinary workshop? The
Pandemic Pantry.
Pandemic Pantry they started, and then they turned it into
out.
the culinary workshop. And all of this started,
Yes.
you said, during the pandemic to do
Yes.
cooking lessons and cooking workshops. Have you
Yes.
found a favorite? Is there a recipe or something that you've made that people mention to you all the time or ask about a lot?
Our
Yes.
most popular episode is by far watermelon cake.
Yes.
Really?
Yes,
we made
because-
like a watermelon birthday cake. We did a 2-tier.
Yes.
And we did
I wonder why.
flowers on sticks.
They made it look easy. You know, you would think
Because she
that-
made it look easy.
She did. She made it look easy. We carved the pumpkins. What am I talking about?
The watermelon.
We sliced the watermelons on camera. and
Wow.
went through every step together, and we used a cookie cutter to make the shapes. It was almost one of those edible arrangement type cakes.
Yes, exactly.
So people always want to find a healthier way to serve cake, and that is a great way to do it. So check out our
And
watermelon
it was
cake.
fun. Yes, do.
Watermelon cake. Watermelon, you can find plenty of fresh watermelon right here.
They are out right
Say-
now, yes.
Yes.
And they are good. Very sweet.
But she made it approachable. That's the good thing about Kate. She makes it seem like it's something you can do at home.
Now, what are you
Try.
chopping up over here?
Okay, so I've got a little shallot right here.
A
So
little shallot.
A little shallot. So just a small onion. Again, they just have a stronger flavor. And we are just going to dice this up. And this is going to go in the dressing that Adrian is going to pull together over there.
Ooh.
Yes.
Or one of us is going to pull together. We're going to see how that goes. So that's going to go in that little glass bar. Yes.
This one?
Yes.
Yes.
And what is this in here?
This is red wine vinegar. So we've got 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. We're going to add our little diced shallot. And
As
then
we
we're
call
going
it, shallot.
So glad you're in the middle.
Perfect.
Back to Adrian. We're going to
Yes.
do a couple of
Well,
big
here,
tablespoons
yes,
of
we're gonna
olive
do
oil into
2
there.
tablespoons of olive oil, Jasmine. I like having it in a squeezy bottle like
Super
that.
generous.
Handy.
And while you are doing that, you're going to add a little salt, a little pepper.
Okay.
I'm going to chop up some fresh parsley.
Kate, I have to ask you, how did you end up here?
Yes, my mother asks the same question quite often. Hey, Jan. I met my husband, who is from California, in London. And his company brought us over here. And so this is where we stay.
A major
Her mom said,
transition.
just don't go to America.
So yeah, we got married and lived in England together for 10 years, 3 children, and then we all hopped the pond.
Now, I love your accent.
Thank you.
Did it take you a minute to get adjusted to us folk in the Deep South?
To be honest, yes, Joel is from LA, and so I thought I had it. And then we moved to Florida, and I was like, this is good. And then we moved to Alabama, and it's like, what?
You know, that's the beauty of America. We are a melting pot with so many different little accents all
much
across.
fun.
Now, what is this?
This is fresh parsley. This is Italian parsley, the
Ooh, it smells
flat leaf
like it.
parsley. So that's going in there. Adrian's going to pop those tomatoes in there.
Yes, and are we whisking our dressing?
We will.
Okay.
Oh, yum, yum,
We
yum.
will. And then we're going to just tip in, we've got about 4 ounces of feta cheese. We're just going to tip that in there too.
Would you?
Perfect. Yes.
I'm going to scoot around the back of you here. We've got
Everything's better with feta.
everything's better with feta.
Our GM over there at Mark Bunting, our
Yeah.
in-house chef, everything's better with feta. Now they are going to finish up this
Yes.
salad, and then when we come back at the end, we're going to dish it up with these ladies from First United Methodist Church to try our frittata, our salad, and all the yummy things, getting you ready for Easter Sunday. Wrapping up things in the kitchen, so our producer Deanna just said in our ear that we all look very springy. That's because we are ready for Easter weekend, and that's what Kate and Adrian from First United Methodist have been here doing all morning, getting us ready. If you're looking for a last-minute brunch recipe, something you can throw in right before you head to church Sunday morning, this is great because Kate mentioned you can actually make this today or tomorrow.
That's what great.
Make it the night before, and these are, you then just slide them in the oven at 350 for 10 minutes, and no one will ever know you didn't just do all that hard
You
work
can
there and
freeze
then.
these as well, but that's great.
You
Because on Easter, you know, you're going to church,
You're getting
rushing to get
everything.
the lunch and everything ready, so you can make this ahead of time. So that's one
Absolutely.
less worry.
Exactly, and the
I mean,
salad
it's just
too.
eating.
No, this is perfect. I love it. Wouldn't change a thing.
Oh, well, I'm so
Flavors
glad that
are
you're
perfect.
enjoying it.
Well, that's
Good.
really
It was
good.
joyful to be here. Thank you so much for having
really
us.
And this
good.
is the bean salad. It could be cannellini beans if you don't have great northern beans.
And again,
Good job, Adrian, on the salad.
I knew a thing.
She's taught you well.
You made it. I ate it. We all have jobs. I love
That's
it.
right.
and it was all better with feta.
That's right, like Mark said.
You are so true.
This is so good. Recipe on WSFA.com.
The news,
Definitely be making this.
the news with Rosanna is coming up next. You can make this, pop it in the oven, and impress your family on Easter Sunday.
This is so good.
And you can turn on the oven and pretend like you made it that morning.
Nobody
All
needs to
delicious.
know.